So, there is another vibrational spectroscopy, which is Raman, and Raman does not care whether your sample is in water or not in water. जो आता है आने देते हैं, right? So, now we will just start discussion on Raman. Concept remains same. It is a vibrational spectroscopy, but there is some difference between FTIR and Raman. Both can be used synchronous. There is some complementarity as well, but that also helps in identification of biomolecules, the chemical molecules and all those. It is a fantastic spectroscopy that has come, Raman spectroscopy. So, we will start with Raman spectroscopy now. नाम सुना है ना रमन का? सब लोगों ने सुना है? उनका पूरा नाम क्या था? CV का मतलब? चंद्रशेखर वेंकट रमन. वेरी गुड. कहाँ काम करते थे? मद्रास यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं करते थे, कोलकाता. ठीक है. सो CV रमन, he was working in Kolkata part time. Full time he was a clerk somewhere, and he was passionate about science. He took some money from Birla to do his research. First Raman spectroscopy he made it, and he started his research in cultivation of science. क्योंकि उस जमाने में ना कलकत्ता बहुत ही साइंटिफिकली ट्यून्ड सिटी था, बहुत ही साइंटिफिकली ट्यून्ड सिटी था, बहुत साइंटिस्ट लोग कलकत्ता में रहते थे. ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ रमन. राइट, सो रमन, although like he got a Nobel Prize, but let's start. Nothing happens like for the first time. Right? There are people who are working, and you remember that all buildings are made up on some क्या बोलते हैं new, right? So in 1923, for the first time, the inelastic light scattering was predicted by Schmeckel, and then 5 years later, the Landsberg and Mandelstam see an unexpected frequency shift in a scattering happening in the quartz. So, this light is shining on a quartz and some unexpected shift that is happening. In 1928, same years, the CV Raman and his student K.S. Krishnan see a feeble light that is coming from neat solvent. Feeble light is coming, like some light is coming from the neat solvent. And that can be experimental error, but you have to be open enough even to interpret what is coming out. So, that is they actually saw it very clearly and started thinking about it. So, they have a filter HG arc lamp spectrum, and then they put this benzene and they saw some light is coming, and that is the first spectra that they got it. And this first spectra was the origin of the Raman. They saw that some light is coming which is feeble from the neat solvent that is coming. When he got it and observed in 1928, and he reported it, and in 3 years, 1930, 2 years only, CV Raman was invited to Stockholm and he was given Nobel Prize, right. So, he was given Nobel Prize 2 years later. बट दुर्भाग्य था कि उस समय नोबेल प्राइज के लिए जो झंडा लगा था ना, वो भारत का था ही नहीं, ब्रिटिश इंडिया का झंडा था. तो इसलिए रमन को बहुत दुख हुआ था. एक तो भारत को नोबेल प्राइज मिला है इतने दिन में, वो भी झंडा किसी और कंट्री का लगा. और उसके बाद इन साइंस वी हैव नॉट, यू नो, इन साइंस इंडिया हैज़ नॉट रिसीव्ड एनी नोबेल प्राइज आफ्टर दैट. देयर आर सम नोबेल प्राइज फॉर पीस और वट एवर, बट इन साइंस दैट्स द other Indians have got it, but not from India. Right? They are CV Raman के भतीजे थे. You know him? His name? Subramaniam. He got a Nobel Prize in physics. He was astrophysicist. Black hole का prediction वगैरह किए थे. Many people, Harvind Khorana, many scientists got it, but they were citizen of some other country. Recent Venki Ramakrishnan, he got it, but he was British American citizen. So, anyway, coming back to that, Raman spectroscopy was invented in 1928. He got a Nobel Prize in 1930. But application did not happen. Application start to happen when the first time the laser was introduced, right. He saw it in simple light, need solvent, but after 1961 when laser happened, the Raman spectra become tractable. After that people started doing, and then 1977 surface enhanced Raman scattering started happen, and 1997 the single molecule event SARS is, right. SARS is surface enhanced Raman scattering, that is there. So, what is Raman spectroscopy and how it works? So, it is a spectroscopy of low probability, remember it is a spectroscopy of low probability, इसकी होने की संभावना कम है, right, होने की, that is a low probability. Yes, why I am just going to tell you why it is low probability. So, if you remember your quantum theory from somewhere, इलेक्ट्रॉन कहाँ से कहाँ जंप करता है, अलाउड स्टेट में, राइट, मैक्सिमम ट्रांजिशन प्रोबेबिलिटी बिटवीन अलाउड स्टेट, बीच का कोई नहीं होता, फर्स्ट फ्लोर से सीधा सेकंड फ्लोर जाएगा, सेकंड से थर्ड, दैट्स ए allowed, like n plus minus whatever, delta n plus minus 1, that's a allowed state kind of things, right. It says that emission absorption happens in radiation between the allowed state, right. When the energy gap is matched, we are seeing it delta E match equal to h mu, and the transition happens. But quantum mechanics also says cannot occur का मतलब ये नहीं है कि होता ही नहीं है, हो सकता है, probability उसकी बहुत ही कम हो गई. That's what it gives you hope that there is a possibility. I say delta E should be plus minus 1 and then transition happens. That means this is a maximum probable. There is also probability बीच में भी कहीं हो सकता है. That's a that can happen, cannot happen in quantum mechanics means occurs with low probability. It's not that it's a black and white. There are some shade of gray as well. So Raman spectroscopy वो नहीं हो सकने वालों में से low probability spectroscopy है. So let's suppose there is a incident light with h mu which is not observed, and then light passes through sample and that is scattered. So intensity can be same as an incident light. That means the scattering is happening elastic. You understand this? So if light is shining and it is getting scattered, right? This means getting completely scattered. That means elastic light, elastic scattering happening. However, अगर लाइट पड़ा और पूरी तरह से स्कैटर होगा, दैट्स इलास्टिक स्कैटरिंग. हाउएवर देयर इज अ वेरी लो प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट सम अमाउंट ऑफ दैट इंसिडेंस लाइट व्हिच इज शाइनिंग कैन बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू द मॉलिक्यूल and then it will go to higher vibrational state, right? That can go to higher vibrational state, and that is that the transition that is happening from one state to higher vibrational state, that gives you possibility that there is a low probability spectroscopy that is happening. So that is not an elastic one, right? So thus Raman scattering, right, light shine on molecule, if it is scattered completely it is a elastic one, but इसका मतलब नहीं है कि सारा का सारा हो गया, थोड़ा सा अगर एब्जॉर्ब होकर वाइब्रेशनल स्टेट को एक्साइट कर दिया, देयर Raman spectroscopy comes. So it occurs with a very low probability because it is not going into like a allowed transition, it is happening some which is not get into elastic scattering, that lines are like those lines are very low and it is difficult to detect the line unless you have shining a very intense light. You remember I mentioned that Raman spectroscopy was discovered in 1928, लेकिन 30 साल और 32 साल it was not possible. Why? Because light was, you are shining the light, you are looking at everything, but it was not that intense. This was a low probability. If you shine intense light which is coming from laser, that low probability one will also be visible, and therefore this that we are detecting with a low probability light can be detected. So first thing, you require a laser light to see that low probable transition that is happening. Second, higher concentration will be required, but higher concentration has a problem, that molecule can aggregate, which was solved by something called resonance Raman spectroscopy. So now you remember, good part is that, okay, let me try to explain it. First you require a laser to do Raman spectroscopy, because it requires an intense light to happen. What is scattering? So, everything getting scattered, that is elastic. Here absorbing that little light that is coming, that is probably not getting through elastic scattering, some vibrational levels are excited with a low probability, right. Those are basically giving you some signal, and that signal we are getting it detected in Raman. Therefore, to excite the Raman or to see the Raman spectrum, it does not matter whether which laser you are using, it is independent of the light source. Did you understand the concept? Because here we are not looking at the absorption from one level to another level. What we are looking at, some light which is not going through elastic scattering, but got absorbed and exciting this low probable states, right. So, Raman spectroscopy is therefore independent of excitation wavelength, right. It is independent of, you just require a laser light to happen. The frequency, since we are exciting the frequency in vibrational state, so again you can have a IR kind of frequency, and IR is excited, so that means it is again CM inverse, you can see it. So, observed frequency is what? Mu minus mu 0 minus mu, because that is a difference you are saying. So, thus absorbed light is not in IR, but in the same wavelength as an incidence light, because that is coming a low probability, and concepts remain same. Classical treatment you can have, again consider the harmonic oscillator, you have frequency of the reduced mass, and the thumb of rule is, if it is a symmetric happening, it is a Raman active, and if asymmetric, then IR active, right. So, CO, if you look at symmetric one, CO, it is a Raman active at 1335, and asymmetric, it is a IR active, all of those two bands are IR active, Raman inactive. For H2O, because it is a both are pulled, so polarizability is also happening. So, Raman and IR both are active. If you stretch and compress, again both Raman are IR active. If you bend it like this, Raman inactive, IR active. So, these are some complementarity frequency that you have in Raman spectroscopy, right. So, it is essentially it is a vibrational spectroscopy, complementarity to FTIR, vibrational level are excited. For exciting these, what you need? A laser source, it is a low probability. That is the, in summary, that is we are discussing for this spectroscopy to happen. Now, to overview the Raman spectroscopy, what we have? A vibrational spectroscopy, it is a vibrational spectroscopy. Now, IR and Raman both are common vibrational spectroscopy for getting the molecular motion, the fingerprint of the molecule, because both works in a similar manner. It is based on inelastic scattering of a monochromatic light source that we are giving. Laser light, monochromatic, and inelastic scattering is happening, but that is going as a, like, whatever it absorbs, that gives you feeble light, that is inelastic scattering, and that we absorb it. Routine energy band is again 200 to 4000 centimeter inverse. It is a complementarity to FTIR, right. So, selection rule dictates that which molecular vibration can be probed, and some vibrational mode IR and Raman both are active, in some IR is active, some Raman is active. The good part is that here you do not need to do any sample preparation. FTIR, I said water is a problem, here water is not a problem, you can just do it in water, minimal simple preparation, gas ho, liquid ho, solid ho, jahan bhi chahiye you can do the Raman. It is compatible with wet sample and normal ambient, you can do it, does not matter. So, what is, these are some good part. What is the like a not so good part? Low probability. Second, you require a laser light. So, optics and all those is expensive. So, Raman is expensive one compared to FTIR. Good part, you can do solution in solution, and you do not require any of the sample preparation. So, this is typically conceptually that we can observe, right. So, here suppose we are exciting. So, this is the UV visible and fluorescence happening in the electronic state, right, electronic state from ground to first excited state, that is what we have looked at, this one, right. This is the excitation, and here when it comes back here and then fluoresce, that is a fluorescence, that already we have put it. Now, these are our vibrational states. So, here we are exciting the vibrational states, right, these are the IR. Here we look at IR, this is was UV visible and fluorescence. But when we shine and light, laser light, what happens that they go to some states and then do elastic scattering, which is called Rayleigh scattering, but some of those just do inelastic here and here, and that is what we observe it. So, 1 in 10 to power 7 photons is just scattered inelastically, very low, 1 in, rest are going to some states, imaginary state, and then they come back, okay. But 1 in 10 to power 7 it just come as it is, and that is what we looked at, that one count is very less, and that is what we looked at IR spectroscopy.